Hey, Summit Chasers, welcome to another episode of Voices of Impact, the podcast where you learn strategies to amplify your influence, impact, and how to take action towards your own purpose and mission. Today's guest is Robyn Taylor, a champion for women everywhere. Robyn's mission is to ensure that every woman, especially those juggling the roles of motherhood and entrepreneurship, feels supported, understood, and empowered. We chat about balancing personal well-being with professional ambition and the importance of maintaining your individuality and pursuing your passions while navigating parenthood. Get ready to be inspired. It starts right now. Okay. Hi, Robyn. Thank you so much for being here with me today. I'm so excited to chat with you and just dive into what it is that you are working on and that you are so passionate about.
Awesome. Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to be here with you.
Of course. So let's kick it off and talk a little bit about who you are, where you're at, and what has led you to what you're doing today.
Yeah, so I am Robyn Taylor and I am a mom of three. So I have a 13-year-old, a 10-year-old, and a 2-year-old.
Wow.
Yeah, life is crazy, but super fun right now in those stages. I have, a background in HR. I was in HR leadership for over 12 years. And I've always kind of been that multi-passionate entrepreneur. I've always had something on the side. I've always been building something, a side hustle or a business. And what I came to find is that, starting a business and going on that path can be really lonely. And so I've really had to find my community, find my people. And I found that whenever I'm able to surround myself with like-minded women, like-minded, ambitious people, I feel supported. We all feel supported. We can all go further. So that's kind of what my mission is right now, is to help women and moms feel supported in their journey. And whether that be like a professional career or a business that they're starting or they have, I want them to feel supported in that journey and know that they're not alone.
Yeah, I feel like that's so true. I think I saw a stat, and now I'm going to completely blank because as soon as I say that, the number leaves my mind. But it was a really, really high percentage of incredibly successful CEOs or business owners feel so lonely. And they actually struggle with depression because they don't feel like they have the support that they need. So I couldn't agree more that it is absolutely pivotal in being able to not only reach the level of success that you're wanting, but to be able to keep it going and to feel fulfilled when you get there. Because I think a lot of times people will have this big idea of, I want to do this, and then they get there and they're still not happy. So how do we bridge that gap through? And a lot of it, I think, comes down to the lonely aspect. So being able to have those people around you to just feel supported, because at the end of the day, as human beings, we crave connection. We want to connect with people and have people, almost like if you look way back into the tribes, we have to have our people around us that allow us to just thrive and support and uplift our lifestyle. So absolutely love that. Right now, with being a busy mom, how have you juggled those two things? Because you sound like you're an absolute hustler. So have always had something going on the side, and now you fully dove into this becoming your full time, right?
Yeah.
How are you juggling all of that?
Well, I think that there's no perfect balance. And I think that giving yourself that grace and knowing that at times, your focus needs to be more on family or kids or whatever's going on. And at times it can be more on the business and building it or your professional path. And I think that just knowing that nobody's journey is perfect, and, just honing in on what's important to you in this moment, in this season of life, and making sure that you're just being present for that. I mean, it is constantly a juggling act and a balancing act, but I think that focusing on, the joy and focusing on the fun parts, and not being so stressed out about oh, I've got to do all these things. It's more about I get to enjoy these moments, and that really helps. And, just being very aware of scheduling and the calendar and just being organized and in as much as you can control, definitely helps with that.
Yeah, absolutely. I know with having the three kiddos, and I would imagine they're all doing different things. Aside from the 2-year old, probably the most easy to manage as far as like not being in after school activities or needing to go on play dates with their friends and all of that stuff. But I would imagine organization is absolutely key in in being able to just stay on top of all of the things that you are juggling. So that is definitely huge. What would you say has led you? Actually, let's talk about what it is that you're doing today, because you left
Yeah.
HR and now you've started your own business. And what is it that you're actually doing? Don't go anywhere. This is just a quick word for our amazing sponsors at Koios. In a world craving customized solutions, Koios stands out by offering tailored leadership solutions. Their cutting edge AI delves deep into personality insights that empowers leaders and business owners to adapt their approach to each team member's unique psychological profile. The result? A surge in motivation and productivity that traditional one-size-fits-all methods cannot match. But they don't stop there. Koios crafts synergistic teams by bringing together diverse personalities, creating an environment where innovation isn't just encouraged, it's actually inevitable. Imagine being able to pinpoint exactly what your team is missing to perform at their best, or have a clear understanding of a new hire's fit, how to lead, and get the best out of them. Koios is helping us redefine leadership and unleashing our clients and your team's potential. Start your journey today and lead with confidence tomorrow. Hit the link below and use code SUMMIT10 at checkout to receive 10% off for the first 3 months. Now, back to the episode.
Yeah, so right now I'm building a community of women that support each other. And what that looks like is, a community of online support. And then also I'm in North Texas, so I do plan community events for women, just to have that connection and, to build friendships. I think that a
Yeah.
lot of times when we start this path that's a little unconventional, our friends that we currently have and our support group and our family, they just sometimes don't get it. And
Yeah.
so this is a community that just gets it. They get like, okay, yes, you're not crazy. People might think you're crazy for doing this, that you've been around your whole life, but actually, like, you got this, keep going. I think that that's really important. And my goal is to continue to build the community and eventually open up a co-working facility for women, where we have a podcast studio, we have offices, we have open spaces. It's beautiful inside. I just can vision it. It's just so pretty. All of the things that you want to be surrounded by when you're working and when you're trying to be creative. It gives you that avenue. It gives you that space to feel that creativity and to have the like-minded women around you that can give you ideas, that can collaborate and support you on the journey. So that is kind of the big vision. And that's kind of where I've got my eyes on next. And then, being a mom too, I think that, I'm thinking of ways like, how can we support the moms in the community? And
Right.
maybe there's a childcare center, like maybe there's, just different things like that. That's really going to help, just help with all of the balancing that we have to do.
Yeah, absolutely. I was actually going to ask if you were planning on having childcare there, because I know that I think for a lot of women who are working and raising their kids, they don't always have the luxury to maybe be able to afford daycare, or they don't have somebody who can help them take care of their kids. So I think to offer that in your space would be an absolute game changer for women, to really just allow them to dive in on themselves. Because I think what I am not, I will say, I don't have my own children. I have 2 step babies. They're 6 and 4. So I get to experience parenthood in a much different way than like yourself, who you've got 3 kids at home that you're keeping alive on a day-to-day basis and entertaining and just creating these little humans and helping them navigate through life. So I don't necessarily have that experience, but from what I understand from people who I've spoken to who do have children, it's so easy for mom to lose themselves in their children. Is that something that you've experienced at all?
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's such a journey. And yes, I think that it's been a journey of like finding myself and but then also coming back to myself, and realizing,
Yeah.
oh wait, I get to be like my real self, my real person, and still be a mom.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to help as many moms as I can to understand that they still get to pursue their dreams and their visions and their goals, and they're still an amazing mom. I think that a lot of times we think it's this or that, but it can be both. It
Mm-hmm.
can be both. And I think that that's so important to bring up because, I have even had friends that are like, well, when the kids go to college, I'll like find myself again, or like go to the dance class or go do a hobby that I've put on the back burner. And I'm like, no, do it now, because you're showing your children that like you can still have a life and be a parent. What are you showing them if you aren't able to fulfill any of those things for yourself? They're not going to think that it's possible for them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's absolutely true. And I remember she was actually somebody on my team at a previous company. I think we were going around just doing, it was a team building activity, and we were just getting to know each other a little bit better. And I think I was asking questions like, what's your favorite dinner? What's your favorite thing to do? And every single answer was, my kids really like this. My kids like to do this. And it kind of broke my heart, because I'm like, it's so easy for, I think, women specifically to forget that they are their own person and their life is for them still. And this is their first time going through life. Like, yes, your kids are absolutely so, so important and just a core part of your being. But if you don't honor yourself, if you don't continue to discover who you are, it's almost doing a disservice to both yourself and to your child. Because like you said, if they're getting brought up that way, and they see mommy just always being about them, they might not realize that they have every opportunity when they become a parent to still live a little bit for themselves and to still find the things that truly bring them joy. So talk to me a little bit about how you've been able to maintain that balance.
Yeah. So I think it's so important to talk about because whenever I first became a mom, I just wanted to spend every single second with my son. And it was like, if I'm not with him, I'm feeling the guilt, I'm feeling this and that. I should always be there. And what I realized was, that really burned me out quick. That makes you exhausted. That makes you not really present when you are there with your children, because you're not pouring into yourself. And it's so important, to have that me time, to have that quiet time, to have that self-care that you need. It's like that saying, you can't fill from an empty cup or whatever. Like you have to pour into yourself so that you have more to give. If you're not, really fully thriving as a person, you can't thrive as a parent either. And so I think that was a huge learning for me, and I had to go through it to really fully understand it and know, okay, wait, whenever I do take the time for myself, I am showing up as such a better human being for everyone involved. So I think it's key. I mean, that's really the balance is finding those little bits of your day or of your week that are just for you, whether that's like a quick walk outside, you're by yourself, you're clearing your head. It's creating those little moments that you can kind of just refresh and take that time for yourself. And then you go back and you show up, as mom again.
Yeah. Yeah. And I would imagine that it might not necessarily look the same every day. I think, for myself, I'm able to maintain a fairly solid routine, but I know for moms, you guys are going to have things thrown at you. Like maybe one of your kiddos is sick and you're not able to get your time in at the gym or whatever it might be. So what are some of those little techniques that you could give that can help moms just know that even if you can't maintain your routine, you can still do some little things along the way to help maintain that, showing up for yourself?
Yeah, I think that it's like giving yourself that grace, and not holding yourself so strict to it has to happen this way. Being open to seeing things in different ways, or being open to, other avenues. Finding lots of different ways that you can kind of have that self-care. like it's not just one thing. Maybe it's not just working out to have that stress relief. Maybe it's like taking a bubble bath. Maybe
Yeah.
it's when you're in the shower, like pretend like you're going on a little mini vacation. This is like your you time, like just little things like that that just bring you a joy and it's just for you. I think also for me, like I do have a morning routine, but it also can be very flexible. So
Right.
sometimes I always listen to a guided meditation every morning, but sometimes if it doesn't happen like before I get in the car, I'll do it in the car. I mean, I'm not closing
Hmm.
my eyes and stuff, but I'm listening to
Right.
it. I'm thinking it
Right.
through it, so it's like being able to flex when you need to
Yeah.
and just know that like, it's okay. And tomorrow is a new day. So if
Hmm.
today didn't go well, you can always start fresh tomorrow. I think that a lot of times we just think, maybe there's a moment when you're stressed or your temper gets crazy and then you just feel that guilt. It's like,
Hmm.
just refresh, restart. You can always restart.
Yep. And we're all human and we're all learning to navigate life at the same time, truly. Like one of the
Yeah.
things, this is probably going to sound so silly, but I feel like as we become adults and we have our own children and that, you start to look at your own parents and realize, holy crap, this is their first time through life too. Like
Yeah.
I think that we think that as parents that you have to have absolutely everything figured out all the time. No, give yourself that grace, allow yourself to be flexible when you need to. I was even thinking when you were talking about, like, let's say movement is really important to you, but you're not able to get it done the way that you would have liked. Get your kids involved, take them out to the park, go play with them, run around a field
Yeah.
with them, find ways to still do those things that are so important to you and just bring the kiddos along with it. If you like meditation, I
Yes.
actually think that that's a great skill for kids to learn because it can help with them to regulate their emotions or just be able to look inward and just chill for a minute. And I think that that's another cool thing that you could get your kids involved in if you needed to. It might not
Oh,
go
yeah.
perfectly. You might not get the most peace as you normally would if you were doing it by yourself. However, it's still like you're creating those moments with your children that they'll then carry with them through life too. So learning how to be flexible, include them in the process when you need to. If you can't always do it the way that you would have wanted, there's still a way around it to make it work. So
Yeah,
I think that
absolutely.
is
Oh, I love
huge.
that so much. And even just this week, I was doing some of that. I'm like, I want to move my body every single day.
Hmm.
And it hasn't happened the way I've wanted. So I'm like, we're walking. We've got
Yeah.
trails all around our house. So we walk and the kids love it.
Hmm.
And then something else that we've been doing as a family is playing pickleball. I'm like,
Cute.
oh my gosh, it's so fun. And it's something
Yeah.
that all four of us can do. And the little one can play with her toys on the side. Like,
Hmm.
yes, get them involved. And find things that you can all enjoy together because
Right.
it makes it so much fun.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so looking back on your career, what was one of those pivotal moments that set you on this path to where you are now?
Oh gosh, that's such a great question. I think for me, like I've always kind of been on this path. Like looking back, I really think that I didn't recognize it from the
Hmm.
beginning, but like I have always, so when I was younger, my mom was very codependent with men. She was dependent financially,
Hmm.
all of that. We grew up very low income. And I knew from a young age that I didn't want that life for me. And so already setting myself up for like, that's not going to be me. I'm going to be
Hmm.
independent. I'm going to make my own money. I'm not going to have to rely on anyone. So that like knowing that from the beginning, I think has set me on a path that, I'm going to do this. And then it was like realizing that I want every girl out there and every woman out there to know that they're capable and
Hmm.
they are enough just as they are. It doesn't matter their circumstances. It doesn't matter
Yep.
their childhood. It doesn't matter their background. None of that matters. You
Yep.
are all worthy. And I want to make sure that everyone feels that way and knows that they're capable of whatever they dream of.
I love that. What are some of the things that you're doing to help women recognize that?
Yeah, I think for me, it's like I started the podcast, Embrace Your Bravery, almost 2 years ago. And
Uh,
that mission was really to give a voice to women, to share stories of women, maybe going through challenges, but overcoming things. It really highlights a lot of female founders and entrepreneurs and their story and their journey to how they got to where they are, where they've seen successes and where they've learned from, the setbacks.
mhm.
And I think that so many people can find themselves in different stories
Yeah.
and they can say, oh, you know what? Like I can relate on that level. I had this kind of childhood. Maybe that means that I can do something and be
Mhm.
brave and like step out and, and it's like, it's definitely like a come with me.
Yeah.
I started it very messy. I've been learning so much as I go. And I think that that is just an example of that, like just start. And
Mhm.
I urge people to just go ahead and
Yeah.
start walking in, one step at a time, whatever the next step you think might be for you, walk it. And then you'll learn, you'll grow, you'll
Mhm.
reiterate, you'll change, and you'll keep going. And I think that that's like the beautiful piece of it. I think that a lot of people think they have to wait until they know everything or they
Mhm.
have it perfect or they have a perfect business plan or they get all the certifications. And it's like, you actually don't need any of that. Just
No.
start.
Yeah.
So that was kind of like me just leading by example. Like, I'm going to start this podcast. I have no idea what I'm
Mhm.
doing.
Right.
And I'm going to learn. And
Yeah.
so it's like that has been a whole journey and just showing up and sharing, what I'm learning, what I'm going through, and helping people know that they're not alone. And I think that that has been huge. And then also just finding those people in the community
Mhm.
who want to get together and just have that connection and
Mhm.
grow, personally and professionally.
Yeah, that's huge. I love what you said about just start. I think we talked about it a little bit, but it's like, don't be afraid to be shitty. If you're
Yes.
waiting for the perfect moment, the perfect plan, perfect business strategy, it's like you're going to hold yourself back from even trying to go for it. So you really just have to dive in there, put yourself out there. I know it sounds so, so scary, but you have to put yourself out there and give yourself a chance to show up, to try, to fail, to learn, to grow. Because if you don't allow yourself that opportunity, you'll almost be left wondering what could have happened if you would have just tried. And that to me
Yes.
is worse than trying and screwing up, right? Like
Absolutely.
the thought of, I have this dream or I have this thing that I'm so, so passionate about, but I don't know exactly how to do it or I don't know where to start. And then you wait and 5 years has gone down the road and you're still working maybe the same job that doesn't necessarily fulfill you, but it's still because you're too scared to just take that first step and be shitty at something. But if you allow yourself to do that, you have no idea what kind of person you'll develop yourself into, what the skills are that you're going to gain. So really just taking those small steps is absolutely everything. And like Robyn said, just start. It's so important to just go for it and learn along the way.
Yeah, absolutely. That's something that makes it literally breaks my heart to hear those stories of people
Mm-hmm.
who are on their deathbed and they're like, I wish I just had the courage to go after it. I wish I
Mm-hmm.
just did the thing I've always wanted to do. I wish I just did it. Why didn't I try? And that breaks my heart. And that is one of my big, whys. And a part of the mission is to make sure that people don't wait. You just get started and you just find people that are going to cheer you on and they're going to
Mm-hmm.
help you out along the way. And you learn so much and you grow and yeah, just start. And don't be so worried about, people judging you.
Yeah.
Because I think that that just gets in our head and we're like, oh my gosh, what are they going to think? Who's they anyways, right?
Yeah.
Like, who is they?
Yeah.
Like, really define it. Well, who are you
Yeah.
worried about? Okay. Well, we're probably not really that concerned anyways. And most people are just worried about themselves. They're not thinking of
100%.
you. I mean, it's
Mm-hmm.
like, it's just, and I have to remind myself of that too. Like, who cares? I mean, nobody is
Mm-hmm.
really out there judging you. And who cares if they are? Because
Mm-hmm.
it's your life, it's not theirs.
Yeah.
And I think their opinion of you is none of your business. It's like, who
Mm-hmm.
cares what they think? it's not going to change who you are. So just continue to show up authentically
Yeah.
and live out, whatever dream is on your heart.
I love that so much. I think that it's so easy to get caught up in that space, and that is a huge thing that will also hold people back. Aside from that perfectionism and people wanting to just be able to do everything right off the bat, is that fear of judgment. And like you said, at the end of the day, people are so worried about themselves. They're also caught up in their own world, in their own story, in their own issues, business, life, whatever it might be, that they might take a look at something that you put out and be like, what are they doing with that? And then it's gone.
Yeah,
They're not sitting there thinking about you for the next 2 hours. They're not sitting there like talking about you. Like they are so caught up in their own stuff. You are just like a fleeting thought, really, in the grand scheme of things, unless they're like a super close friend or family member. And if that's the case, they shouldn't be judging you. They should just be supporting you. And if they're not, then you got the wrong people in your corner. So
yes.
I just think that it's so important to be mindful of that. I know I've struggled with times where, I don't know, Robyn, if you're the same, but I will like replay a moment in my head for like 4 days if I have an interaction with somebody and I feel like I shouldn't have said something, or I said something the wrong way. I will literally be like, oh my gosh, they're gonna think this and this of me and da 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 da. And it's like they probably heard it and then it was gone. And yet I beat myself up over it for like 4 days. And that's just not worth it. Like, why put ourselves through it? Just move on. It's okay to not show up right all the time. You're a human being, like we were speaking to. We're all learning, we're all navigating life for the first time together. So just give yourself a little bit of grace and allow yourself to be a little messy if you need to be a little bit messy.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's so key to just like recognize that, recognize that in yourself. Like, oh, like, I've been really hung up on this,
Yeah.
and like letting it go and allowing yourself to just have that moment of it doesn't matter. It's okay. And yeah, it's so key. And like, who cares? I don't know. I've just decided that like it's fine. Like
Yeah.
it doesn't matter as long as you're showing up and you feel proud about what you're doing and who you are as a person. You are living out your values. I think that's key, and you can just let that stuff go.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially like you said, you're living out your own purpose, your own values, your own life. And if you're not doing harm to anybody else, you're good. You are absolutely golden. Just keep doing you. Keep working towards what it is that you are working on, and know that you will absolutely achieve it if you start taking those small steps that Robyn was talking about earlier. One foot in front of the other. Understand break it down into those like bite-sized pieces so that it doesn't seem as overwhelming and almost gets you into that like analysis paralysis where you're like, I have so much I want to do, but I have no idea where to start. So then you don't start. Just start. Take those steps and actively allow yourself to work towards that life of your dreams, because all of us deserve to live that and to experience
Yes.
that. So
Oh
I
my
think
gosh.
that's
Yes.
huge. Yeah.
Yes, so true. And it's like when those things creep up, like the perfectionism or the I'm not good enough or whatever it is, that is our bodies trying to just keep us safe. And so that is like fear that's just creeping up. It's thinking, okay, well, I'm scared to do this thing. So now it's going to show up as perfectionism. I'm scared to do this thing. It's going to show up as imposter syndrome. Like it's just all these different excuses. And the bottom line is, yes, it is scary to do things. It is scary to go outside of the norm or to show up and just put yourself out there. Sometimes it's scary. But once you start doing it, you become, more and more confident. You grow that confidence, and then you can continue to do more and more scary things,
Right.
and it just builds upon that muscle.
Absolutely. When it's funny, Zach and I, my partner, we often talk about imposter syndrome, and we've almost eliminated that word or that phrase from our vocabulary, because syndrome implies that it is something that cannot go away.
Yeah.
Right? If you're thinking in the medical field and you hear syndrome, that is not something that can be cured. So we like to think of it as just not being fully comfortable with our potential yet.
Oh, I
And
love that.
that is so much easier to accept and to work with and to move through than self-diagnosing yourself with imposter syndrome. Like, gross. I don't want to have a like that thing that I can't ever get rid of, that I'm not in charge of. So I really love the reframing of It's just, I'm not comfortable with my potential yet. And I'm going to figure it out and I'm going to discover it. I'm going to start to get comfortable and get confident. So
Oh
just
my gosh, I love
one little
that so
thought.
much. Yes, I'm taking that one. I love
Please
that.
do. Please do get it out there, because let's get rid of imposter syndrome, because it is not
Yes,
serving any of us. It is consistently just holding everybody back who buys into that thought or that belief. So
absolutely.
toodles.
It is gone.
Yep. All right. So talk to me a little bit about the community events that you put on. If somebody who's listening is in the Northern Texas area, what does that look like for them? How can they start to get involved?
Yeah, so what it looks like is an online community, so anyone from anywhere can join that. And then here locally in North Texas, I'm starting to put on monthly events, and it's a networking event, and there's different aspects to it. So coming up in April, at the end of April, I'm doing one with a friend who's going to do breath work. So we'll have a session on breath work. There's networking, and then there's going to be some fun photo shoots. So it's a way to connect,
That's cool.
meet different women throughout the community, meet, maybe someone that might be a great partner, for you to collaborate down the road, and just support and uplift each other, fill your cup, leave, feeling inspired, leave feeling like you're not alone, you're supported. And it's not just you, against the world. Like, you've got allies and you've got supporters and cheerleaders. So, that's kind of the goal of that. And just to continue to, to grow the network.
I love that. And where can people find your community?
Yeah, so on Instagram would probably be the best place to find it. It's Robyn_Lynne. It's ROBYN_LYNNE. You can find me there, and I post all about it with all the opportunities to join.
Amazing. And I've got two final questions for you. Kicking it off is, what is the impact that you want to have made when you're gone?
It really goes back to my mission of just, inspiring as many people as I can to live their dreams, to know that they're worthy, have that belief in themselves, and just start taking the action. And I think that we can make impact, and impact is something that I've thought about often. And I think that a lot of times we're making a bigger impact than we think. And so I think that allowing yourself to realize that you just showing up as you showing up, and showing others what is possible is making a huge impact. So I think that I want to leave that impact on the world, that I was not afraid to be myself, and I encouraged everyone else to be themselves, and continue to, chase their dreams and not let anything hold them back. And I want, specifically my kids to know that, they're capable of everything. And I'm, developing them in a way where they're watching me, and they're developing themselves into humans that know that they can do anything they want.
Absolutely. I love that so much. And then final question is, what summit are you currently chasing?
Yeah, I'm really excited to, like, the next journey for me is really that physical space of owning the co-working space, of just getting that community together on a more regular basis, having that, it's a whole vibe. It's, we're connecting, we're collaborating, and I think that it's going to bring a lot of people together, and help people to really understand all that they're capable of, and get those like creative juices flowing, and just continue to spread the message, really.
That's amazing. And I wish you the absolute best of luck with everything that you are working on. I think it is truly needed. And for those women who are mothers to just realize that they can go after their dreams. They can absolutely live a completely fulfilled life from their children, and also with their business and their goals and dreams. So absolutely love what you're doing, and best of luck with everything. Thank you so much, Robyn.
Thank you so much.
And that wraps up another episode of Voices of Impact. Thank you so much for joining us today. If you found value in our conversation, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel. For more inspiring stories and actionable advice, make sure to hit that notification bell so you never miss an episode. Also, we would love to hear your thoughts and takeaways, so please leave us a comment below. And remember, no matter where you are on your journey, you have the power to climb higher and chase your summit. Until next time, Summit Chasers, keep pushing forward and stay inspired.